Hey, what's going on? It is Swing for the Fences. Holden Kushner here. I got Big T. I got Mangone. Actually, Mangone's not playing cash tonight, so he is Travis. We got Travis on the show with us. Guys, I mean, in all seriousness, we have no idea how many games are going to be played tonight. We got Oakland at Texas canceled. We got Philadelphia, Washington canceled. We got weather in Buffalo. Now the Orioles are talking about maybe not playing tonight. The Mets are talking about not playing tonight. You know, Big T, I want to get your thoughts on this. Like, how are we handling this? Because you can't put a lineup in right now, can you?
No, I mean, there's no reason to. Yesterday, we had a similar spot where it's just all game theory. Like yesterday, I played all early guys. You just want to play guys that have the best chance at playing, honestly. I mean, there's a ton of risk when you play these slates. The good thing is once it starts, theoretically, it should 100% play out. So if we can find one or two of these games that look like we got pitchers on the mound ready to go. And another good thing is, like, these games are all somewhat early, like 2-6-40 games, 2-7-10 games. I mean, we should, in theory, have a pretty good idea, which is another reason to get signed up over at Run Pure Sports, Discord. Like, we're going to do our best in there. And this is when you get the biggest edge. I'm glad
we're in trouble. Tigers and Twins are not playing. I mean, I thought that was over. I thought that one was kind of like a shoe, and I thought we were going to at least have that one.
That was the one game. That was the one game I thought we'd play. There's no way they're having a slate tonight. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the game. Nobody talked about the Twins and the Tigers cutting it off today. So I don't know if the other games aren't going to play, but let's face it, guys. Let's not be stupid. In all likelihood, this slate's going to hell. We can talk about the games that are going on if you want to.
The weird part, though, is like we're just talking about the slate, but like to talk about baseball as a whole, like what? There's 4 doubleheaders. Like these are still going, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, we got 4 doubleheaders.
I mean, they wouldn't cancel. Like the doubleheaders have to go because they got to play games. I mean, I'm not convinced we're not going to at least get 2 of these games off still.
All right. Well, listen, a lot of us would love to see some baseball played. A lot of us don't want to see baseball played. I mean, it's tough. It really is. And you talked about the weather too, though, with Buffalo. So it's not like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are shoo-in. And really, I don't think that they would have canceled this. Jack Flaherty came out and just started ripping. They're like, we're the only league that's not playing. Even the NHL canceled it. You know, what are we doing here? And I honest to God think that some of the teams kind of listened to that and decided to just cut it down. So I'll keep an eye on what's going on with the Orioles. Mangone, yeah, you saw it with the Rangers or the Twins. They're done, but that's where we are. So let's talk a little game theory, though, Big T, because, Mangone said, I'm not playing any cash games. Well, what if you're entering double ups and everybody else is afraid to play? Can you get an edge there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't want to sound like a dick and people are sitting out and stuff, but this is where you can get a big edge. And that's what we're trying to give you at Run Pure. Like right now, I think the Toronto game has basically 0% chance at playing, barely above that. So that means we have 2 games left. We can focus on these 2 games, treat it like a 2-game slate. And on top of it, we might get a bunch of overlay on these sites because casual people driving home from work, they're going to be like, I'm not messing with this. We got games canceling, double headers. I mean, it's hard. Like, it's hard for us, and we're sitting at the computer, and we play every day. So, I mean, a casual person is really up against it. And I don't know. Like, sure, it might go down, and we might waste the next 2 hours of our life. But who knows? We might get a big edge and win something because there's still huge prize pools. If these things go off, you could win 6 figures tonight just by paying a little attention here.
Yeah, can we talk about like the edge that you can have? Like yesterday, there's no way Jacob deGrom should have been 55% owned or 59% owned. Another thing, and I mean, I know there were more baseball games yesterday, but like we kind of knew like
there wasn't many more. I mean, there was more, but there wasn't like a massive slate.
Yeah, but the one thing I want to say and like was super important. I knew the Tigers and Cubs would get more ownership, but I knew that game would play because Jason Hayward, he came out and he said, I basically said to the team, I don't want to play, but you guys can go out there and play. Like he gave the stamp of approval, and it sounded like they were going to play. It looked like it was going to play, and literally like 10 minutes before lock, I was just like, I'm just playing the Cubs and Tigers on DraftKings. I just made sure to stack them up. And I played Cameron Maybin. He was one guy I played. I got him at 2.35% owned. I mean,
he was
that's
like
just
one of my favorite guys too.
Yeah, he was great. Like 2.5%, like on that type of slate was insane. And like, for instance, like if the Rays end up playing, like, and I mean, I don't know if they're gonna play, but Hunter Renfroe, right? And like the 6 hole, like he's a guy that typically gets, some ownership. He's typically up higher in the lineup. Maybe he gets lower owned. Guys that are just hitting the 9 hole, the difference between like what the guys in the 1 hole will be today, they'll be like 60% owned. And there'll be guys that are in like the 9 spot that are gonna be a lot less. So
I love Mangone. I don't know. Which one is it? Travis?
This is Travis. This is Travis talking, not Mangone.
Travis is just so much better than Mangone. Like, I've been preaching this for years, and I mean, the past few years, I had to listen to Mangone say, I'm playing the 1 through 5 holes, blah, blah, blah. Now Travis, I mean, just so much freaking sharper. I mean, why would you ever play Margot in the 1 hole over Renfroe in the 7 hole when the ownership will be that different? Finally, Travis sees the light.
Yeah,
it's like a little caterpillar, and he went into his cocoon. And he came out a beautiful moth. That's what he came out.
I'm trying to gain that edge. You know what I mean? Like people won't want to play Mike Zunino, right? Like it's like they'll be like, okay, like I'm.
The catcher's the only spot where it's a little different though, because they do play the punt catchers a little bit.
True, but like let's say, for instance, the he's not in the lineup right now, but if let's say the Twins game played, right, and Mitch Garver was in the lineup, or you had all the money in the world, you'd play Mitch Garver over Mike Zunino, right? It's just like little things like that. People won't leave money on the table today. They're going to try and fill out their salary, even though you probably shouldn't, because who knows? It's probably going to be 2 games. We don't even know what kind of games it's going to be. There's weather. On top of the weather, there's all the people trying to cancel the game. So a lot going on with this.
Yep, and again, if you're just joining us. No Oakland, Texas, no Philly, Washington, and now the Twins and the Tigers. The Twins decided that they don't want to play tonight. So I guess we'll talk about Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and Miami and the Mets. Nothing official from Toronto hosting the Red Sox in Baltimore. We could talk about that too. A little bummed Colorado, Arizona isn't on the slate. Looks like that game is going to go on, but we just have to deal with it. There's 3 games they're playing right now, by the way. Yeah, it's like the Dodgers and the Giants just got underway. The Mariners and the Padres are playing. I mean, it's all over.
The double headers are going, right?
Yeah, we had 4 double headers going on today. There are going to be a lot more double headers. I mean, that's as simple as that. Guys, good luck is all. Good luck is all I'll say. With tonight, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this thing plays out. So, guys, I guess we talk about pitching. Is that where we are? If Baltimore-Toronto goes, Hyun-Jin Ryu at 9.7 on Draftkings. You got Waka going for the Mets. He's back. Ryan Yarbrough is just 7.9 for Tampa Bay against Baltimore. And then Means, Sixto Sanchez, and Chris Mazza. How about a little rundown there, Big T? Your thoughts on this short pitching slate?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, I'm seriously I'm taking the Toronto game off, like completely taking it off my radar. The weather looks terrible, and I don't think they play on top of it. But this goes back to the game theory and getting in the Discord. If somehow we were to hear it's for sure going to play, I would definitely circle back and have interest in Ryu just because he's the best pitcher. But from now until that slate starts, which is the first game, so we will know for a fact if it's going to play by the time the slates. I mean, unless it's just weather and they don't say anything. But I have a feeling they'll cancel. So I'm just crossing it off. I'll circle back if I have to. So that leaves us with 4 pitchers. And clearly Yarbrough is, I want to say it's kind of like DeGrom yesterday. Obviously, he's not as good as DeGrom. I'm not saying he is, but it's the same spot where he's clearly got the most upside. Like, it's not even close. So he's got the best park. He's got the best stuff. He's got the best matchup. I'm just going to lock him into all my teams. On FanDuel, I'm just going to lock him. On DK, I'm going to lock him. And obviously, you have to play one more. But then you look at the other guys. You got Waka and this Sixto guy. And even Means. I think you can put Means in there because no one's really going to play him. And maybe just split my exposure. I mean, honestly, you look at the projections. They're all projected very similarly. Everything kind of looks the same after Yarbrough. So if I had to rank them, I think I would rank it. I think Waka will be the second most popular, so I'd rank him actually lower because I just don't like Waka all that much. So I'd probably rank him third. No, I'd have to rank him ahead of Means still just because. See, you go to the game theory even more, and like everyone is going to play Tampa. with Yarbrough and Waka. Like, that's just going to be the build. So, like always in showdowns and 2 gamers, 3 gamers, like, I don't want to be on that chalk path. So if I do play Tampa, like Travis said, go down to Renfro, Wendell, Jose Martinez. Jose Martinez might be popular, though, just because he's always killed lefties. And then just try to find another team like Miami. If you know Waka's going to be the chalk SP2, then maybe I go with Miami and pivot to that direction. But tons of game theory. I would rank them, though, pitchers. Yarbrough, lock. Sanchez, number 2. Waka, 3. Means 4. And then, like I said, just fading the rest.
Yeah, I don't love Sixto Sanchez as far as the Ks per 9. They kind of deteriorated as his minor league career went on.
What numbers are we looking at? You're our
I mean, he was last year. He was in the low 8 Ks per 9. Let me just look it back up here. I mean,
was it in AAA, Double A? Like, where was he last year?
Yeah, he was at Double A, and he was also at High A. And he averaged in the mid 8s for a while. It came back down. I did watch his start. I mean, he passed the eye test for me, T. I like that. 4 Ks in 5 innings. Didn't walk anybody. That was kind of fun, too. Did give up 6 hits. But I don't know if you're not getting any upside out of Sixto Sanchez. But do you have to have upside out of both your pitchers tonight if you're playing DK? That's the question. Like, are there 2 pitchers that are going to have upside?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you do. I mean, some of the chat, just to talk about some of the chat, like, they're saying they should adjust to let the Dodgers, like, the Dodgers game isn't going to count. They already posted that message. They're not going to circle back and do it. Like, that's just a refund waiting to happen. There's no way they do that. So, and then, yeah, I mean, he said it's pouring in Toronto. That's what we said. I mean, the weather looks terrible. So I'm crossing that game off.
I think it's another reason why they're just going to cancel it.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Like, it's just honestly easy. Just take your stand, whatever you want to do, get it out of the way, check it off the list.
Travis, give me a little rundown of the pitching here. Do you agree?
Don't let Mangone talk either. We only want Travis.
Yeah, Mangone's definitely not here for this show. I can promise you that. He's on the beach, like, doing something else. He is not playing the cash games. So, yeah, I will say Yarbrough is like a lock, though. And, yeah, I'm talking like that if all these games play. Like, Yarbrough would definitely be the lock. And, like, you would definitely say if Ryu could somehow play, like, he would be in play. But let's say that game's not on the slate, right? That Toronto-Boston game. Like, you mentioned, like, Sixto Sanchez has no upside. Like, well, Michael Wacha's got no upside either. I'd rather just be on the Sixto Sanchez train. So, for me, I think I'd be going Sixto, and I'd be playing Ryan Yarbrough. Those would be my 2 pitchers. That's where I would be going if I, played this slate in GPP. So, yeah, Sixto Sanchez, Yarbrough, those are my 2 guys. If I end up, playing the GPP life, which I will be, and if I'm able to play it, who knows? I might not be able to play. You guys might not be able to play. No one might be able to play this slate.
Those might be the only 2 pitchers.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That could be the end of it. All right, well, let's try and navigate this for the 3 games that tentatively are still going to play. And if we're taking Boston out of it, I mean, forget it. What do we got? 2 games here. We got Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and Miami, and the Mets. So again, I just want to reiterate: Baltimore's meeting. They might not play tonight. The Mets are meeting, and they might not play tonight. So we don't know. And Boston's meeting, and we already talked about the weather there, but. I mean, if we do start talking about the 4 teams that are still in it, hey, Travis, give me a little rundown here. What do you think about the 4 teams' offenses? How would you rank them coming in tonight? Is it Tampa Bay, the Mets, then Miami and Baltimore? Just rank them just as a club from top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, so the Rays are number 1, no doubt. No doubt they're number 1. You would say the Mets are probably number 2, but I would just be playing the Marlins instead, I think. Or I might maybe like mix and match. I obviously wouldn't mind just going home run hunting. I think that could be a really good idea on this slate. One thing you obviously have to look at is, like, don't be afraid to play a pitcher against your hitter on this slate. It's a 2-gamer. Like, it's not a big deal. Yarbrough is probably not the guy I would do it against. It's more against the, like, Waka or Sixto Sanchez. So I feel like I would play, most people will probably either play Yarbrough and then they'll play Waka or they'll play Sixto Sanchez. And if that's what you want to do, don't be afraid to play like a Michael Conforto, right? He's a guy that you can always play as a lefty. Let me see who else is in that lineup. I don't know if the lineup's even out yet for them. But yeah, Nemo, Conforto, right? The lefties are the guys. Cano, who's been hitting the ball a little bit better. don't be afraid to take that approach. I think that's something that you can definitely do on this slate. So yeah, I would definitely look to do that. One thing I was kind of thinking in my head, let's say it's maybe a pitcher's duel. Like everyone's playing the Rays, right? Let's say we get the 2 games. We get the Mets game. We also get the Marlins. We get the Mets game. We get the Rays game. Everyone likes Yarbrough, and it sounds like everyone's going to like the Rays offense. And if you look at it, everyone's going to be like, okay, I'm going to take either the Mets pitcher or I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take the Marlins pitcher. How about just do this? You could just take Yarbrough and Means, because all it is like an if-then statement. If Means has a good game, then there's a good chance the Rays didn't do so hot. So you could then just play Yarbrough and Means in tournaments as like a little like pitcher stack, and then just stack up the Marlins and the Mets bats. And when you stack those bats up, that means those other 2 pitchers that everyone's going to be owning on different sides with Yarbrough are going to blow up. And you know what that means, Holden? That means we're going to have a different build than other people on a 2-game slate, and we can get our way to the top in GPPs.
Hey, we love talking game theory, Tony. What do you think about that theory there? Run the 2 pitchers out, just go against them?
No, I mean, there's so many things you can do. And I love these 2-gamers. Like, this is obviously way more game theory than even the normal 2-gamers. But, like, once we get in the playoffs and you have 2-game slates, I love doing random stuff like that. And people don't do it where they'll, like, do random combos just to get different, where you play Yarbrough and Means together, like Travis said, but you play 2 hitters from that game or 3 hitters and then a full stack like the Mets or Miami, or just so many things you can do in baseball to get way different, which is why I love it. And I mean, there's just so many things you can do. And it sounds basic, like when you just tell someone there's 2 games. And what happens in these playoff slates, which we're going to have in a month, and these slates, is people just play the same guys, which is why I love showdowns, which is why I love 2-game slates. They'll just come in, all the casual people. They'll plug in Yarbrough. They'll plug in Waka. They'll plug in the 5 hitters from Tampa that fit. They'll find the other cheap guys that fit, Matt Joyce and these type of guys. Like Nemo in the 1 hole for $3,500. They'll just play him. I mean, you can literally draw up 7 of the guys people are going to play. They're going to get all the ownership. People are going to tilt when Jeff McNeil from the 7 hole outscores Nemo from the 1 hole. And there's a 10% one guy and 70% the other guy. Like, it's just so much freaking game theory, and that's why I love it. And, I mean, in Tampa even, like, if you just fade these guys at the top and play the bottom like we always talk about, you can play Tampa too. It definitely can go against your pitchers as well. Like these Baltimore guys, in theory, should be by far the lowest owned because most people are going to play Yarbrough. So play a Santander and an Alberto and a Nunez. I couldn't agree more.
So let's look at that then, Tony, because you're looking at Santander. Like, there's got to be certain guys in particular that you would pick out from that Orioles offense if they play tonight, right? So you're not – now, you could also do a 1 through 5 stack and then do a 6 through 9 stack or whatever you want to do. There's going to be so many different ways to go. But who's your preferred plays? Do you have any from Baltimore? Or is it more like, let's just get those guys in there if we're MMEing?
No, yeah. I mean, for me, I wouldn't go to the bottom with a lineup like that. Like, we don't have a lineup, but some of these dudes at the bottom suck. So if I know people aren't going to play Baltimore, I'll just play the good guys, like definitely the top 4, even 5, where I'd play the righties. I'd play just those guys. I mean, Alberto, Santander especially, Nunez, Valleca even. I mean, all those guys. Like, Valleca should be just crazy low owned because of a price. Another thing everyone's going to do is try to spend all their salary, which salary is literally going to mean nothing on this slate because you can play whoever you want. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to stick with Tampa mainly, though, because even though they're going to be the chalkiest, I still want to play 4 or 5 of these guys because I do think it's clearly the best spot. And, yeah, they're going to be the highest owned, but we can still get different in the other spots. So I kind of like my man Travis's build here, where we play Yarbrough for sure. We play 4 or 5 Tampa bats, and then we play maybe 2 Baltimore bats with it. And then the topper of Travis's strategy is the Mets game could start, and there's weather. There's just so many possibilities where clearly the one game that has the best shot to go right now is the Tampa game, like without a doubt, like 100% the best chance. So if the most of our guys are in that game, we could have the best chance at not getting any zeros.
Well, that's kind of the strategy tonight. let's not get any zeros if we have any games played. Hey, Travis, what about your thoughts on that game? And again, I love game theory. I wish we could just do a game theory show. Let's just do a game theory show every week. I mean,
I love it.
I mean, and
Travis, you know this too, Travis. So the one day we had this afternoon, there was this afternoon slate that we did pretty good at. The rule is if the first game starts, like the slate goes no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So if this Tampa game starts, this slate is playing no matter what else happens.
Well, I think it can't be one game.
Yeah.
I think it needs like the Mets game to also go. But like if the Mets game gets like washed out, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If it goes, let's say the Tampa game goes all the way through, and then the Mets game, like let's say that one doesn't happen, or let's say it happens, but then like it rains, and about like the third inning, they're like, "Hey, we can't be doing this anymore."
Because that one day though, because this is what happened on that day slate. It was a 2-game slate.
I must have missed that one. I don't know.
And Hoop ended up doing good. It was a 2-game slate. And the first game was for sure going to go. The second game was for sure going to rain out. Oh, yeah. K. Falix in the chat said that was a short slate tourney. So it had different rules, I guess. But with that one, it was if the first game started, it would go no matter what happened to the second game. And then the second game got rained out. So anyone that played obviously got zeros.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is, like, if your Red Sox and Blue Jays decide not to play, that just came through. But one thing I want to mention, too.
that's official?
Yeah, that just officially came through.
All right, so knock another one off.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention when we're talking about like game theory stuff too, like let's say that you're talking about not like Tampa Bay is clearly like the team that's gonna, that had the best chance at winning tonight, right? A game. If you're worried about fading Tampa Bay, let's say you want to go super game theory and just fade Tampa altogether. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but if that's what you want to do, if you did that, like you and it works out, you have a chance at winning like a ton of money at the top. Like there's a big load. So what you can do to hedge is, let's say you play like, you're in like the $66, the $15, the $20, it all adds up to $100. Bet like $200 on the Rays if you're able to, you know what I mean? And that way you kind of hedge yourself a little bit. That way, if the Rays blow up, like you collect money that way, and it's like no harm, no foul. And if the other outcome works out, you'll lose that $200. But man, you have an outcome that could go absolutely nuts. Obviously, it's not that simple and easy to hedge it, but it's something that you can definitely do on this type of slate too. Would be perfect.
We are down to 2 games though, right? Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and Miami and the Mets. And again, Luis Rojas, the Mets manager, pushed his Zoom call back because he's meeting with the team right now. I mean, listen, we got to prepare. You have to be prepared for this because there could be an opportunity to make money tonight. But let's be real here, guys. This is a shit show. This ain't happening. I mean, but we have to prepare like it is. So, right?
The good thing is we're down to 2 games now. So, like,
hey, we know it's a 2-gamer.
And if we lose one more, like the thing's going down for sure. It's probably going to go down. I mean, they'll probably cancel the match. But, I mean, all this is good to talk about anyways because it doesn't just apply to this slate. Like, you can apply this to future slates and future 2-game slates. And, yeah, and it's good. Obviously, this slate is a total shit show right now, but we can use it for the future.
Well, that's fine. Let's just go to the other game that they're thinking about playing right now, and that's Miami and the Mets. Again, it's Sixto Sanchez and on the other side, Michael Wacha. How have you guys been handling the Miami situation? Like just their bats this season. Their offense is anemic. They do have a couple of guys. Like last night, who were we talking about going up against DeGrom? Brian Anderson just playing like a one-off against DeGrom. Is there a one-off, Tony? I guess tonight there's going to be more than a one-off, right? If they play this game and we have a slate, you got to stack the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Marlins too as far as their lineup because Matt Joyce has always been a guy I've played against righties. Dickerson really good against righties. You got other guys that, I mean, we don't have a lineup yet, obviously, which is a little worrisome, like Travis was talking about. But yeah, I mean, my 2 favorites would for sure be Dickerson and Joyce, assuming they're in the lineup somewhere. Even like a catcher like Alfaro, I think will be super low owned. VR, depending on where he's at, Rojas. I mean, all these Marlins, honestly. if this slate goes off, they're going to be, well, Baltimore will be the lowest, but Miami will be the second lowest. Everyone's just going to play Tampa and the Mets. So anyone from these other two teams we can find is going to be good plays, honestly.
Travis, what are you doing with this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously gonna be hunting for like some low-owned options, right? Like that's what I want to be doing. If you obviously like Sixto Sanchez, the way to probably attack him is, with the lefties, I would assume. So let's say the Rays, we know they're going to be the chalk, right? So if we look at that lineup today, if the game goes, where is a lot of the ownership going to go to? I assume it goes to Yandy Diaz, right? Austin Meadows, maybe Mike Brousseau could get a ton too, who's like first base eligible. Does that make Pete Alonso, who's sitting there in like the 6 hole, like someone that could get lower owned if people are going to play Mike Brousseau? I know he's second base eligible too, but they're going to play him at first base. Could he be a guy that becomes lower owned a bit? I'm just trying to figure out which Ray gets like the most ownership, where if you see that guy be like 80% owned, maybe we can get an edge on one of these other players that's pretty good. Like Yandy Diaz, he's third base eligible, I think, over on DraftKings. So if people are playing Yandy Diaz, we could just play JD Davis in the 3 hole if he's going to be there. Like, let's just take a shot on him instead. Like, he seems like a good option. If people are going to go out there and play, like I said, Mike Brousseau, if they're going to play him at the second base position, go ahead and just play Robinson Cano. Like, if you play Robinson Cano and you play Pete Alonso, you literally don't have the 4-hitter for the Rays. And that's a way that you're being unique on this slate. So, I don't know. Big T, what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. You could pretty much talk me into about anything in this 2-game slate, except like play what I said, the obvious plays where you play just the optimal lineup. Like, I think the only way I wouldn't play this slate is literally go in here where whatever optimizer projection source you use, plug in the optimal team and play it. That's literally the only way I wouldn't play this slate. I could make a case for anything else. I just wouldn't do that. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. And I wish we had these lineups because it would really let us go even deeper into the game theory of it, because we just don't know. Like, we can guess, but who knows what they're going to end up being. And, yeah, I mean, I love these slates. So I hope that that's what happens. Yeah, and so in the chat it says, Ryan typed in there, if one game starts, even if the rest cancels, the slate counts. I remember that from that 2-gamer. So, like, if this Tampa game goes, so this is why I was going to circle back to it. We don't know about the Mets, and there's weather in the Mets on top of it. Not as bad as the other game, but there is weather. I think there's a decent edge to play both pitchers in the Tampa game and everybody but one hitter in that game too. So leave one spot for the Mets game. Whoever it is, it doesn't even matter because we're hoping the game would get canceled anyways. And I don't know. There's so much game theory with it.
So, hold on. One of our guys wants to talk showdown. And I think it's interesting that last night the Rockies, they went out there, but Matt Kemp's like, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. And today he's back in the lineup. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, but we got day baseball going on right now, right? So, Kyle Freeland and Zach Gallen, there's a really good pitching matchup. But I just are you guys okay talking about that showdown? Do you want to get into that just real quick? I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at it, but we can definitely do it on the spot. And
yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, that makes it fun, though, because we're looking at it live and we can kind of just go through it like we would if we were playing it.
Well, let's do it. Let's just go down this and thank you for asking that question, because we do have day baseball going on right now. And if I'm right, we're about an hour and a half away, hour and 40 minutes away from the Rockies and Diamondbacks. I have not heard anything about that. You got Kyle.
Just pulled up the prize pools for it, and
it's rough. I know.
I changed my mind about wanting to talk about it.
That's it. We're done. What is it like?
The prize pool's $3,000. Like, oh man, I was getting excited for a minute, and then there's just nothing. Like,
I saw the question in chat, and I was like, oh, maybe there's good prize pools, and there are not.
Yeah. We got to veto it, chat. I was gonna do it, and I was excited. But we can't. I mean, if it's a $3,000 prize pool, we aren't going to do that.
Okay. That's fine. I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
We're not messing around. We're not on Holden Kushner's bankroll. We're on Big T and Travis's bankroll. We're doing the big boy bankroll.
I will say this, like,
$1 single entries today.
Well, I will say this, like, don't feel like you have to. One thing, like, you got to mention is, like, you don't have to play every slate in the world, right? Like, sometimes it's good just to focus on one thing and just try and get better at that and improve on that. You don't have to go out there and play the PGA slate, the CSGO slate, the LO slate. I mean, there's tons of great stuff. We have tons of great content for you, but you don't have you got to sleep for I don't know how many, 6 to 8 hours in a day we'll give you. And then what are you doing with the rest of the hours? You grinding every single slate, for every single sport. It's okay not to play them all. I know Big T plays a ton of them, but sometimes I'm in the camp of we don't have to play every single slate in the world.
It's a good point though. When you say that, I get in trouble on Saturdays mainly because I have to literally write it down because I'll be playing on DK and FanDuel. You got baseball, and then you got some NASCAR in there, and you got golf showdown, and you got MMA coming that night, and then we got the baseball, and we're doing content on – it gets overwhelming. So, I think I do that to myself sometimes too much, and honestly, it hurts because there's even times where even I'll forget about a slate until the last second. You got to get in there and figure it out because there's too much going on. You have to be able to focus on some stuff. Somebody in the chat says, give me some NFL tanks since baseball's a no-go. Whoever asked me that doesn't know me good enough because, I play every day, every slate, but I do not look ahead at the NFL before the week of. So I'm Holden's our NFL guy at the moment.
Travis? You're not – I was going to say –
he probably knows more than me, but he definitely doesn't know as much as you. He plays every day too.
Yeah, well, you're gonna laugh. So I definitely typically mix in the NFL podcast here and there, but the buzz just hasn't been there for NFL. I'm excited for it to come back when it comes back, but I'm so busy grinding out the NBA slates, the MLB slates. The idea of mixing in an NFL podcast just sounds miserable. So I haven't really mixed in a ton. I catch nuggets here and there. I get push notifications from some NFL guys on my Twitter, so I can see oh, this is happening. I see things here and there, but I'm not out here telling you, who's the offensive lineman number 2 for the Redskins or something. I don't got that for you. And I don't know why I said the Redskins because they're team Washington now.
You bastard. No, in all seriousness, I spend between 60 and 90 minutes a night just going through reading articles, and that's it. But there is no doubt about it, guys. There is no buzz.
It starts in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today.
From tonight, yes.
Yeah.
Your showdown slate is happening very soon, dude. And
2 weeks is here before we know it.
Yeah. And we're not redraft guys at this site at Run Pure. We don't do redraft, but I'm telling you right now, there's so many people I've talked to that are either have not even thought about it, do not have a draft day set yet, or are just canceling their league this year.
Do you know what happened with my NFL draft? The draft room launched with my friends from high school. Our draft room launched last night, and everyone was like, "Oh, our draft room launched. We should probably move that." It's crazy that the buzz is not what it was. But I mean, of course, once it's here, I'm gonna be pumped, and I'm gonna be grinding all the content for it. I'm gonna be, reading up on everything I can and figuring it out. And it's like DFS, we figure it out day by day, and we're gonna have good content. Don't worry, we're gonna find you the winners. No doubt. I don't need to know who the RB2 is and stuff like that. I'll read it up once we get a little bit closer. And I might mix in a podcast tonight or tomorrow. I thought about starting to do that soon. I just got to make sure
It's easy when we got no sports taking place for a night. Hopping into football tonight.
You think this baseball thing is crazy? Wait till the NFL, man. Wait till 10 minutes before a game starts. It's these guys aren't going to play, or this team it's going to be. This is going to be the year where the people that dig the most and do the most research are probably going to win more than anything else. I mean, guys get lucky sometimes. You're not going to be able to get lucky this year. There's just too much you're going to have to know. And it's just like this baseball slate. If you're just joining us right now, we're down to 2 games tonight, guys. Down to 2 games. Baltimore and Tampa Bay, Miami and the Mets. And by the way, the Orioles met and the Mets are meeting, and we don't know if they're going to play tonight. So just get ready.
Holden, the one thing with NFL too, I don't know if you saw this, but I know the Packers, they basically talked about how the beat writers are not going to be able to have as great of access to what packages people are going to be in. So you're not it's going to be game day, and you're going to be wait, why is and I'm trying to think of a guy like Devin Funchess. I don't even think he's on the Packers anymore, but I'm trying to think of a lower level guy, right? That could not. Do you think he's going to be the wide receiver 2 and then he's not? It's one of those situations where the wide receiver 2 and 3s, they're just out of nowhere, maybe going to be out of the lineup. You're going to be why are they not playing? It's going to be rough this year. So definitely, dig as much as you can, but things are going to pop up that you're not expecting, and it's going to be quite frustrating for sure.
I mean, listen, and then in the NFL, Saquon Barkley came out and said, listen, we might boycott. we might boycott too. We might not play a game. So just get ready, because if you thought everything was already a mess right now, it's just going to get messier. So
the good news is that's more reason to sign up over at Run Pure. Let us do the work for you, though, and get in the Discord. Let us do all the hard part, because so yeah, Steve Anthony says, I hope you do showdown shows like you did before. Of course we're going to do that. We're going to do them just as good, just bigger and better over.
Don't you have a site? Don't we have a whole showdown site?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to guarantee it'll be up by then, but yeah, it should be. I mean, it will be up soon where we're going to have that side of it.
Yeah, I know people.
That's a big draw. That's a big draw.
Big T, I know people have been looking for. We obviously want to give a ton of showdown content. And it's been tough with all the sports going on. Like we got to admit, like it's tough to be able to crank that all out. We got to sleep too, but we're definitely gonna be cranking out a lot of showdown stuff coming up. Big T, wouldn't you say, with the NBA and all that?
Yeah, I mean, the plan was to start going NBA every single night starting tonight, but obviously there's no games. I'm not sure if they're going to play tomorrow, but whether they play tomorrow or Saturday,
They said Saturday, Tony, was the day.
Saturday officially. So, okay, so Saturday night will be the first night. Whatever the main GP, it's not going to be every showdown because they have little ones like this Rocky ones for a couple thousand, but the main one each day will definitely have content for. And then baseball Sunday nights will have it. Football, obviously, all the night games will have it. Just more and more stuff coming, 100%.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is, like, you can use, like, all the other pieces of content to help build showdown lineups. And, like, some of the strategies you're going to talk about in the showdown, like, one thing you mentioned, and, again, it didn't work out, fading the Portland Bigs in that Grizzlies game.
It doesn't always work out. You should clarify that.
Yeah, it's not always going to work out. The whole point of showdown, like, listen, I do play showdown cash games at times, but like a lot of the point of showdown is to try and ship those big GBPs and take that down. There's a lot of game theory to it. There's a lot of people who are throwing their cash game lineup and just lineups that are the exact same
Tons of people that do that.
Tons of people. So there's a massive edge with trying to get different and get that top prize. And you have to understand when you're playing showdown, that's what you're doing. Like, you're not going to win every day with that approach. You have to
just
understand.
Real quick, Travis Glassnow came out and said their plan is to play tonight.
Oh, cool. Nice. That's good. We got one game.
Because he's with Tampa Bay. He went over. I saw a whole bunch of pictures. He was going over to talk to the Orioles. He just came out and said the plan is to play tonight. So we'll see. But you were talking about that, Tony. Like, if we can get a game.
I can tell you right now for a fact that the way it's looking for me, I'm going to try to hit as many people in that first game as I can. There's only 2 games again now. I want to play both pitchers probably, and then you just never know. You could fall into the perfect script where the second game gets canceled and you just print money. So that's my plan right now.
You don't think these sites would shut it down just thinking that there's going to be too much overlay?
I mean, if they do it before, I don't know if they have a choice, honestly, until that second game gets canceled. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, until that second game gets canceled, it's hard for them to sit there and do that. I don't know what the ruling is on it, but it is kind of tough. They put themselves in a weird spot because it's like they also get people who complain and ask for the refunds and stuff. But
people that work on it all day, like us, talking about it and different things. Yeah, I mean, so Tim says this in. You don't think everyone is thinking that? Tim, there's 2 games. I promise you, everyone's not going to just jam the first game. They're going to wait for Waka. There's going to be tons and tons of people. Waka will be 50% owned or something where you can use your one player as a hitter. So if you get a 0, it's not in the pitcher spot. It sounds simple. I know by saying this, people think like this is as simple as can be. There's 2 games. One of them for sure goes. The second one might not. Sounds easy, but it will not play out like that. I guarantee it. People are going to play a bunch of people in that second game, and they just don't think it through.
I have a dumb question. Are we I'm trying to grind for every edge, and I don't even know if this is something we can do. Can we play is there some reliever you could play? Like, is that an angle you can take on this slate? I don't know. I know we talked about that in showdowns before.
They're not going to outscore the 2 pitchers, though.
Yeah, you'd assume not. I'm just trying to think of something like
deep game theory. You could like maybe Means gets just crushed and the other game doesn't go. Like theoretically, it would work if Means went into the negative. Like if Means goes negative and the next game cancels.
How often has this dude gone negative? Let me see. I'm quite curious.
I mean, it has happened probably a few times.
Yeah, he's got so you look at his game logs. It's he's played 4 starts. He went negative against the Yankees and the Nationals. The Red Sox, he dropped a 2.4, and then Miami, he dropped a 15.3. So it has been rough for Mr. Means. I'll say that. But again, people look at the game log and they're not going to want to play that. Like they're going to be like, oh, like maybe
they're
I'll try
and play. I can promise you, they're going to play pitchers from the next game. Like everyone's going to play Yarbrough with one of those. I bet 80% plus of the field plays one of the later pitchers, like at least.
Really?
They're not going to think it through like that game getting canceled.
Huh.
Like,
you also forget like that $18 GBP, like the big main GBP, people were entering teams all throughout the day, and some people just are not going to change it. Like there's tons of people around the world, they're dealing with things, they have things happen. Something happened to a relative where they had to go tend to that, and they're just like distracted, right? Or they had a bad day at work, their girlfriend broke up with them, something happened. There's going to be dead lineups no matter what. So definitely can take advantage of it.
Just real quick, I mean, I'm following this just like you guys, but New York Post says that there's double-digit Mets on the field. Several are warming up. So, I mean, again, if you listen to what Glasnow said, and he said he talked to a whole bunch of guys in his clubhouse, and even though they were hurt, they still want to go out there. We haven't heard from the Orioles, though. We've not heard from the Orioles, so that's another big side of things.
Yeah, a great actually point by Kevin Fallick, K-Fleek. He crushes. He's in our Discord chat, helping people out too, talking DFS. He's boys with Big T. The Marlins and the Orioles, they both dealt with COVID issues, right? Like they need to get these games in. So they might be kind of talking about it and just saying, hey, listen, we would love to sit out, but we got to get games in. Like it'd be great to, but we got to play. I mean, the Marlins definitely have to play.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The Mets, the Marlins are up in New York for the Yankee series for like the last or next to last, and the Mets will be up there to play. I'm not worried about. I think it's an interesting thought. I'm not worried about that part of it, though. And I don't think baseball's worried about it, too, because they are
the worst case scenario. If they don't get as many games, they'll just go by win percentage anyways.
It's the Marlins and the Mets, too. I mean, that being said, teams under 500 are going to have postseason contention. So I don't want to just say, hey, it's the Marlins. They're not going to do it because you can win 20 games and be in the playoffs this year.
I was also going to say, don't disrespect the Marlins. They were 6-1. I don't even know what their record is. I don't look at records, but they're 14-12. So put some respect on the Marlins name. They're doing okay.
Nope, refuse to.
And there's weather, guys. Like we can't just discount the weather. Like the weather could dump rain in New York still too. Like there's just so much that goes into it. The only thing I know for sure is if this first game goes, you better have a big chunk of this first game.
I wish the Orioles reporters knew something, because all I'm hearing right now is from the Tampa Bay side. So.
It does suck that we have like no lineup. That if we had a lineup, I would feel really good about that first game.
Same. That's my worry. Is no lineup is a little scary. And listen, like of course the Tampa Bay said that they're going to play, but the other side they can just be like, we don't care. We're gonna not play. Like
we're done skiing.
Yeah. Like if you just don't play, then I mean it is what it is.
Well, I think we did as much as we could with this slate. I think if you just want to recap what we did here. Stack the Baltimore Tampa Bay game. It's as simple as that. If you're playing a slate and the slate goes on, play the Baltimore Tampa Bay slate game. We only have 2 games going on right now: Baltimore Tampa Bay, Miami and the Mets. We do have the showdown with Colorado and Arizona if you wanted to get into that. But I mean that's about it, man. That's it. Oh, yeah. JSU, leave me alone. I don't think the Orioles are amazing. Their offense is amazing. They're the greatest offense in the history of the Orioles. Actually, man, they're struggling lately. But shut up, JSU. You're mean. Just being mean to me. Well,
JSU's like the sharpest dude you'll ever talk to, and that man can't spell at all. Have you seen his spelling, Holden?
Who, JSU?
Yeah, you talk to him, and he's the smartest like business, and he's got 1,500K hits in DFS, and then you watch him spell, and like he just is embarrassingly bad spelling.
Well, hey, there's a lot of people that are just brilliant idiots. I'm one of them. Like I'm an idiot savant. There's a couple things I know a lot of, and the rest of the stuff, no idea. Took me 23 years to learn how to wipe my own ass, guys. This is who is hosting your shows. So congratulations.
By the way, I'll summarize this slate. So I just wrote in my core plays for cash plays. I just wrote John Means ? Because I don't know. It's tough. We'll have to see. But I thought that was a fun.
And those of you that are
guys did
checking
a
out
good
like
job.
the playbook and stuff too, like there's not going to be a playbook today. I mean, there's only 2 games now. We'll have core plays up once we get more news. But I mean, today, as far as content, Discord's going to be the best place for sure.
Yep. And tomorrow we'll try it again. Yep.
Go back to the drawing board.
Hopefully we'll have baseball tomorrow, and we will have NBA and NHL this weekend. So
Is NHL done till Saturday too?
And I just saw the schedule that JSU put out. I'm sure he's going to change it 5 minutes before I'm supposed to do a show. But did you see all the NFL content we have?
Yeah.
Holy moly. This is going to be awesome. Like, I asked them for shifts. I'm probably doing like 9 shows a week, and it's not enough. I am so excited about this. Let's just get this going. I love my baseball, man. Baseball's a lot of fun, but we're basically toast tonight. Just play the Baltimore and Tampa Bay and hope you win some money. So
we got my man in chat here too. He says, "Are you going to the mall?" The mall? Yeah, I went to FedEx yesterday. That gear is on the way. It's officially out.
Yep.
People are gonna get it today, tomorrow, Saturday. Like it's going to be there in the next couple days.
Yeah, gear should be coming. One last thing I want to mention, like if you're looking for the DFS fix, right? Like we got showdown content for PGA, right? Like the PGA is going on. Snyder's going to have a playbook, I'm sure, for that. We'll have our core plays and stuff. So, I mean, check that out over there. And you got till tomorrow morning, too. This thing, started at 12:30. I'm assuming it starts at 12:30 tomorrow. We got CSGO. We got a ton of stuff going on. So if you're really looking for the itch on these different sports, like we got you covered. I mean, there's things you can play. And the Discord chat's obviously the best place to go into to get all that info and, get the access to the, analysts talking about everything.
And that's the DFS side. I mean, there are some games to bet, too, if you want to bet on some games. I did. So there's some games too. Check out Run Pure Bets, of course, Run Pure Sports. You gotta get in the Discord, especially today, since we don't know what's going to happen. Go in the baseball Discord, stick around, ask the guys questions if you got them. Simple as that. Okay, it shouldn't be that difficult. Go in the Discord and do it. All right, are we done? Are we done here, guys? I think we did
the last question. FanDuel main slate going to be canceled. We just keep talking about it. No one knows. 2 games left. As long as one of these games goes, it's going to go. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, let's get in there. All right, guys, take care. One more thing. What do we got? We got our special promo till the 31st, T, and then the prices are going up?
Yep, $65 if you sign up now through next Tuesday, I think is the beginning of next month. So football in 2 weeks, the price is going to go up to $80. We're going to have $100 for the bets too. I don't know if that's on the site yet, but $100 will get you bets, everything on the site for $100 or $65 just for DFS.
All right, and it's extraordinarily affordable, and we got the best in the business here. For Travis Mango, for Big T, and Captain back in the studio, I'm Holden Kushner, and we will catch you tomorrow.